Hello everyone, welcome to a special episode on Magicka Addict. I have with me LenawolfBravil, a verified mod author at Nexus Mods with around 60,000 downloads. LenawolfBravil is a key contributor to mods for the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Notably, a major collaborative effort among modders has made it possible to traverse the entirety of Tamriel in Oblivion without any loading screens, a project to which LenawolfBravil has made significant contributions. Her work is extensive, covering many regions of Tamriel such as Cyrodiil, Morrowind, the northern lands that is Skyrim and High Rock, and the southern provinces like Elsweyr and Valenwood. However, in this video, my focus is on the work being done in the province of Skyrim. We will discuss her past contributions to the province and a new Skyrim overhaul project which may come out later this year. So let's get into it then. Hey LenawolfBravil, I'm a big fan of your collection of mods. I have tried many of your mods like Lena's Companions, Witcher in Cyrodiil, Imperial City Bridges and more. All of your mods add so much to Oblivion. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I want to know what makes Oblivion so engaging for you and what got you into modding it.
Thanks for inviting me. This is such fun. I am glad people are still playing this old game, and glad that my mods make it more fun for some. By the way, my pen name is simply Lena Wolf. My handle on Nexus Mods is LenawolfBravil because when I was registering, Lena Wolf appeared to have been already taken, and since the original Lena Wolf spent much of her life in Bravil, I put it into the name. Most people call her Wolf. However, Oblivion is one of my all-time favorite games, coming only after Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. But Dragon's Dogma is nearly impossible to mod, while Oblivion is completely open to modding. I also made a few mods for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, but found the process of making mods there more complex, and I felt it was unnecessary. And anyhow, as a game, I prefer Oblivion to Skyrim. So Oblivion won as my base to create a world. Now, why I like Oblivion better? That's a hard question to answer. It is a matter of taste. But for me, it comes down to color, music, dialogue, the look of characters and animations. All of that, except dialogue, I prefer in Oblivion, yes, even potato heads. They are maybe a bit low resolution, but I find them much more expressive than the new style faces like in Skyrim, or indeed like with the Oblivion character overhaul. As for the dialogue, it is just as good in Skyrim as it is in Oblivion. One is not better than the other in my opinion.
Sure, I will address you as Lena Wolf. The Tamriel World Map project is a source of amazement for many in the Elder Scrolls community, as it allows seamless travel between all of Tamriel's provinces without loading screens. Users can walk or ride a horse directly from Cyrodiil to High Rock to Skyrim to Morrowind and beyond. Could you provide some details on this project and discuss your specific involvement?
I cannot really provide details on it. I only picked up what was already built some 18 years ago, roughly. This project predates the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, which is why Skyrim does not look like the Elder Scrolls V. Onra made the height map, that is, the lay of the land, then other people generated landscapes for each of the provinces, except Morrowind. Note that Elsweyr and Valenwood is not a part of the Tamriel World Map project. It existed already before TWMP started, so TWMP was carefully shaped around it, so they could be used together. It is quite complex on the technical level. Huldar converted several mods to work with TWMP, namely Hammerfell and Valenwood Improved, and then he set off working on Skyrim as his own project. He did not use TWMP Skyrim landscapes but instead generated his own, covering also the continental part of Morrowind, so that you would not get bare land if you were to go east from the Veloti Mountains. Huldar's Skyrim Improved is the basis for my TWMP Skyrim Alive. All the landscapes and land alterations were made by Huldar, including the throat of the world and its position, but also all the waterways. I added Bleak Isle and made all the roads, that is, not just drew them, but landscaped them as well. A road must present a flat horizontal surface, or else you'd simply fall off and not be able to use it. I made them all usable for horses because I like to ride a horse in Oblivion. Huldar also imported a number of cities into Skyrim from another old project, namely Solitude, Windhelm and Snowhawk, as well as some smaller villages. I built my mod around them, not touching his work, but rather building new things elsewhere. Skyrim is certainly big enough for it. The idea was to make it appear as if it was all one mod, all one world. I followed Huldar's ideas, using his land layout and landscapes.
Thank you for sharing that insight. The achievement is truly impressive. While the Morrowind and Skyrim modding communities struggle to complete a single province, the Oblivion modding community already has content for all provinces, albeit at various stages of completion.
Well, we have that content largely thanks to Huldar because he converted Valenwood Improved and Hammerfell to TWMP and made Skyrim Improved. Plus, of course, Elsweyr and Morrowind, both separate from TWMP. It is just a few people working on parts of Tamriel on their own. We don't have a project team or anything. And many of those who contributed already left modding.
Right, let us talk about your work on the Skyrim province. Your mod is called TWMP Skyrim Alive, where you filled in the province of Skyrim, adding new towns, castles, dungeons and quests. Do tell us about the 3 releases for Skyrim so far, and what players can expect if they start at level 1 in Skyrim using your alternate start mod.
I added to Huldar's TWMP Skyrim Improved. I did not start from scratch. I played his mod and liked it, and wanted to build in the same space, and this is how it started. Release 1. This fills in the south of Skyrim. It is quite a small mod, really, but was a big thing for me because every beginning is hard. I built Riften where Huldar left a marker and a burned down village, and I replaced many pine trees by birches and aspens to make the rift feel like the rift. I built a few roads to connect everything in the south, and made some mountain paths, as well as passages from Cyrodiil, so now you could actually just follow a road and enter Skyrim. I left this release available for people who didn't want the rest of TWMP Skyrim alive and only just wanted the space across the border. Release 2 was an intermediate release where I filled Skyrim with caves and forts, as well as some local quests here and there through notice boards similar to the Witcher series. That was where the idea came from. There are some 50 small to medium quests in total. I also added some castles and built new towns, Morthal, Dawnstar, Winterhold, with the College of Magic, and Whiterun. I built roads to connect everything, so that the entirety of Skyrim could be traversed on foot or on horseback, no teleportation or flying required. This was not previously possible because of high and steep mountains dividing up Skyrim into pockets. I had to build mountain roads and passes to connect them. Release 3 is the current and final release of the TWMP version of my mod. It adds the main quest and some additional local quests. It also adds a new large island, the Bleak Isle, complete with a city on it. This release has a total of about 110 quests, including the ones from Release 2, and every part of Skyrim has something to do. Release 4 will be standalone. It will not depend on any other mods, besides my Companions Master for the companions found throughout Skyrim. It will have its own map already included, as well as an alternate start option which can be toggled in a configuration file. Of course, you will be able to use a different alternative start mod or just go with the vanilla start, it's up to you. But the idea with Skyrim Alive Lone Wolf is to be a complete world, not a full conversion of Oblivion, but still playable separately from the vanilla content. The alternative start in it will allow you to play the Oblivion main quest as well. You'll just have to find that drunkard who got the Amulet of Kings and take upon yourself the task of delivering it.
If we look at the map of Arena and Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and compare it to the map of TWMP Skyrim Alive, why is the shape so different? Also, I see cities, towns and villages not seen in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Can you talk about the settlements?
The map was created by Onra, not me and not Huldar. Onra explains on his mod page why the map is different. The world spaces of the Elder Scrolls games are created lore-friendly but not lore-accurate. So yes, Skyrim, and other provinces, are stretched vertically. Remember that this was created before TES V Skyrim or ESO, so there is no way it could or should look the same. As for the towns and villages not seen in TES V, well, that's because we are not based on TES V, because we predate TES V. Have I mentioned that already? Sorry. This is a tender point because I get asked this again and again, with rebukes and displeasures that our Skyrim is all wrong. No, we are not going back in time to try to change it. Forgive the ranting, please. But the law comes from Arena, and TES V chose to drop some of the settlements, and so we have them and they don't. You can see the map from Arena that I posted on my mod page with the settlements marked that we have in Skyrim. They are largely in the right places too. Consider that Arena had no rivers or mountain ranges, but we do, so we had to work around the landscape and place the settlements sensibly. A number of them actually come from Holdar's Skyrim Improved, and he was following the Arena map as well.
I see that TWMP Skyrim Alive has an extensive main quest line consisting of 25 quests. Can you share the themes of the main story and what inspired you to write the story? Also, I noticed some characters from the mainline Elder Scrolls games in the main quest, like Caius Cosadus and Delphine. Are they the same people?
There are 25 quests in the main quest line. There are about 70 completely independent side quests and 15 guild quests, with a total of about 110 quests. As you can see, the vast majority of the adventure is to be had outside of the main quests. Yes, some of the famous characters from other games also make an appearance, but are they the same people or are they different people with the same names? Who is to say? It all depends on your own interpretation of the main quest. I do not say in which year it takes place. It could be around the Oblivion crisis, it could be 200 years later or even before. It is entirely open to the player's interpretation. And so we have a blonde Breton woman in Riverwood named Delphine. Is it the same Delphine that we meet in the Elder Scrolls V in the year 4E200? Maybe. Or maybe it is her great-great-great-grandmother, who was also a blonde Breton woman named Delphine, and who too was with the Blades. Stranger things were known to happen. As for what it is all about, if I say it, it will rather spoil the surprise, such as it is. Everyone probably already can guess, and yet I would rather not say it out loud. The main theme is choice. You have to choose which path you want to walk, the path of the blade, the path of the dragon, or the path of the voice. Depending on that, quests change, that is, the way you have to do them, changes. Your actions throughout are evaluated to see whether you really follow your chosen path. If you transgress, you get a warning, and if you transgress again, you are politely shown the door, and thus you return to the path of the undecided. It is also entirely possible to forego the main quest altogether and to remain on the path of the undecided, leaving Delphine to count her own chickens. What inspired me to write this story? I won't answer this because it would give the story away.
On your website, you list some interesting joinable Skyrim factions like the Order of Kinnereth, Ysgramor's Companions, Dwemer Artifact Collectors Guild, Glenmoril Word, and Welkin Masons Guild. These sound so interesting. Can you share some information on these factions? What are they about, and are they joinable with questlines?
Glenmoril WAD is not yet joinable, but you do have dealings with them. Joinable is planned for later. Ysgramor's Companions has a rather long and convoluted quest line to rescue the companions from yet another mead drinking expedition gone wrong, but once you've done that and joined them, there aren't any quests for the companions yet, again, planned for later. The other factions are joinable and have quests and rewards associated with them. You come across all of these factions by exploring the land. Much is done by exploring. You stumble upon books or scrolls, knock on doors, talk to people, and someone may mention something that you might decide to look into. It is entirely up to you. And then with one thing and another, you find yourself being offered to join a faction, which you can turn down, of course. Who cares about Dwemer artifacts anyway? And that Bosma is clearly mad, so why would you even consider? The factions are really what it says on the tin. Kynareth is the favorite divine in Skyrim, so it is only natural that there should be an order in her honor concerning itself with protecting the natural world. You get tasks to do which go beyond dealing with rat infestations, but no one can avoid that, either. The Welkind Masons Guild is based in Sunev, which is the ancient Ayleid city just north of Winterhold. Yes, this is where the College of Magic is housed. Besides teaching magic, they also mine Welkind stones, which explains the incredible wealth of the city, and the presence of so many Legion guards. The Empire is not taking it lightly, so the Guild mounts expeditions to retrieve particularly rare Welkind stones or rare and lost artifacts. As a new member, you mostly get sent on such fetch missions, but bring your axe, because there is a good reason why no one else wants to do them. More complex missions will be added in future releases. All factions will have more content in the future, but obviously only for those who progress far enough in the ranks. There will be new factions added as well. I can see it already in the continuation of the main quest.
In your blog, you say this.
In most cases, you can refuse a quest outright, and you can always just give up on any quest at any point if you think it's annoying or not worth doing. This game cannot be beaten because there's nothing to beat here. The goal is the journey.
I like how you say the goal is the journey here. What is your quest design philosophy?
There are different types of quests. Some quests are gathered in a quest line, and they build upon each other. Other quests are completely standalone tasks, like notes on a billboard. The types of tasks and their complexity also varies, as well as their moral implications. Some would require you to do morally questionable things, others may send you on a wild goose chase and you have to wonder whether it's worth it. Some quests appear to be stuck without any hints or clues, then, just like in real life, it means that some information from an unrelated source is missing. So, leave such a quest alone, go do other things, and hopefully you will stumble upon the missing piece, and then you can return and finish your stuck quest. Quite a few of them are linked in this fashion, not directly, but it is much easier to do one if you already know something else from another. This was inspired by TES IV Morrowind. You are all set and ready to play this new and exciting game, you rush to Balmora, and this half-naked skooma sucker tells you to get out into the world and do stuff, because he's got no use for someone as green behind the ears as yourself. And you are just dropped there, no hints, no clues. Go fish. And then there are hidden quests. If you are a true child of Skyrim, you will poke your nose in every nook and cranny and try everything on, regardless how foolish or useless it seems, and especially if it seems foolish or useless. And there you might be in for a surprise. But if you are only passing through, if you are doing a speed run and can't wait to return to the warm sands of Elsweyr, you will likely miss the majority of the game, just as you would miss it in Cyrodiil, if you only played the main quest. The Empire would have been saved by a rather boring hero of Kvatch and Bruma. Have you ever found the skeleton of Indiana Jones in Morrowind? Or the love letters in that very chaste inn in Leyawian? Or the letter from a troll? Or a death sentence for growing a beard in the Shivering Isles? There are Easter eggs like that in Skyrim too, but some of them do more, they start hidden quests. Some search quests may appear unnecessarily difficult, requiring you to fight multiple incredibly strong monsters in order to get that one item. Well, then you took the wrong path. Hidden items are just that, hidden. They are not placed on a pedestal in the middle of the room under a beam of light. There are no quest markers leading you there. If there is a quest marker at all, it leads you to the dungeon in question, but as soon as you enter, it disappears. It isn't much of a search quest if you know where to look. There are red herrings and confusing details meant to lead you astray. You are advised to keep your wits about you and your eyes open. Many things are not what they seem, and this was inspired by Alice Behind the Looking Glass. Everything is so familiar, yet nothing is like you've known it before. Well, maybe not everything in this case, but some things are changed. There are many clues to be found in books. Sometimes literally, things falling out of a book once you open it, but mostly in text. It does not advance any quests, but it tells you how to navigate dungeons, what to expect and how to survive, and sometimes how to find an entrance or an exit. Those stories aren't just stories and legends, they are all true, and you can go and find what the books are talking about. And if there are any warnings, then expect trouble as well. Quests are not meant to be mechanical. Not everything is in the journal. If you don't have the time or do not wish to become invested in the game, to remember things, then some quests will appear too hard and annoying. So be it, just dismiss them and try something else. There are plenty of simple, straightforward quests for when you'd rather send your brain on vacation. Generally, you are expected to take responsibility for your actions. Some quests should not be done, or else unexpected and unpleasant consequences would ensue. Have you ever done such quests in Risen, Two Worlds or The Witcher? Some quests appear really easy, suitable for someone on level 1. After all, how hard can it be to fetch some copper ore from a nearby mine? But you have to ask yourself, why in a town filled with Legion soldiers, nobody found the time to go to that mine and fetch the ore for their own blacksmith? Well, maybe it isn't as easy as that, and then if you find that the mine is teeming with Daedra instead of the usual bandits, you run away, because on level 1, you won't be able to stand up to them. Come back when you are stronger and maybe find the reason for that Daedric infestation as well.
Amazing, Lena Wolf. Thank you for that insight. I can't wait to test your Skyrim quests. Let us talk about Release 4 of TWMP Skyrim Alive. It will be a new mod with different landscapes and waterways. Can you talk to the community about your new vision for Skyrim? And will all the existing questlines be part of this new release?
As much as I like Huldar's vision of Skyrim on which my TWMP mod is based, some things I wanted to be different, but doing them in TWMP would have been too intrusive, as well as technically too challenging, both to make and to play. Too much overriding was eating away at my 15-year-old computer. Hey, Oblivion is an old game. The computer is 5 years newer than the game, so that is enough headroom, I figured. I make sure my mod can be worked on and can run on this old system because I do not want to buy a modern PC in order to run an old game, it's too expensive. TWMP Skyrim Alive was getting too big. It still runs well, but loading it all into the construction set for further development was no longer working. I had to do something, and having tried a few things, I realized that I had to go completely standalone in order to be able to work on it. And, of course, in my new mod, I could alter the landscapes as much as I wanted. The standalone version will be Skyrim according to Lena Wolf. All the existing quests will be transferred to the standalone version. The quest line remains the same and will be continued and built upon. I even aim to make a converter mod to take your progress from the TWMP version into the standalone version in order to avoid having to do the same quests again. The landscapes are completely redone. We still have the same land layout created by Onra. His mod has free permissions. You do not have to work within the TWMP framework to use his height map. So I imported it into my standalone mod. It will not be a part of TWMP and it will cover the whole northern part, Hammerfell, High Rock and Skyrim, including the part of continental Morrowind to the east of Veloti Mountains. You will be able to run the original non-TWMP Hammerfell mod with it, but not TWMP Skyrim mods. You will be able to run other TWMP mods with it though, Somerset Isles, Valenwood, Elsweyr Palatine and Black Marsh. I have imported the landscapes of the original TWMP Skyrim, and I modified them, replaced trees and land textures in places with different ones in order to create distinct areas with different look and feel. They will also have different flora and weather. As I said before, Huldar created all the waterways in TWMP Skyrim improved. So I started off without any waterways at all, and I created them based on the TES IV Skyrim map and following Onra's land layout. It is not possible to recreate them in the same way because we have different mountain formations, but I tried to keep them roughly similar. Skyrim is a mountain country and we have waterfalls everywhere. Below is my current development map. It is a topographic map and you see mountain formations and where I put rivers and lakes. Compared to the map of TWMP Skyrim Alive, the Throat of the World and Riften are moved south to where Onra originally intended them to be, which is also more in agreement with TES V. I am really not against TES V or ESO, but I do not feel obliged to follow them, in particular where they disagree with the earlier lore. Besides, this is my Skyrim, and although I try not to contradict the lore, I sometimes bend it or add things that were not originally found in Skyrim, such as nods to other universes from books and games. As they say, history is written by the victors. I am making a new set of flora for Skyrim as well. You may have noticed that there was hardly any flora in TWMP Skyrim, because they were limited to what Bethesda designed for Gerald Mountains. There was no variety, and I like alchemy. So we are going to have many new types of plants and mushrooms in Skyrim, some of them familiar from TS V, and some completely new. This is because I cannot make new models and am limited to what has already been created. I know some tricks for Nifscope, I can do retextures quite well and some small alterations, but making new plants is beyond me. Still, between the main game and the libraries, there is already enough variety to fill a new province. Designing flora types, I take my inspiration from the real world, looking at Norway in particular and the types of plants they have there. Surprisingly, many have varieties that adapted to cold climate, so all I have to do is give existing plants a somewhat different coloration, and we are good to go. But we'll have new types as well. Some of the iconic flora from TS V will have its representation, such as the Deathbell flower or the swamp fungal pod from the moors of Morthal, or the creep cluster from East March. They will not look quite the same, but will still be recognizable. See it as a way to reimagine them rather than a copy.
Please share the status of the new Skyrim Alive release. Is it coming out this year? What can the community expect when they enter the province of Skyrim?
I would like for this project to be ready this year, but real life has a tendency of getting in the way of modding. There will be a beta version, to start with. At the moment, I have all trees and shrubs in place, all rivers and waterfalls done, all roads drawn and landscaped, but not all path grid yet. All cities and villages are built, that is, their exteriors, and there are a few new castles as well. This is all that I planned for this release. The map above is all filled in. Dark green circles show settlements that are already fully finished exteriors and interiors. Light green circles show settlements without interiors, or with only some interiors done but not all. Brown circles show castles. My next step is flora. It needs to go into the ground, and I am going to use automatic generation, but it will also require a lot of manual adjustment. After that, it's the weather, sounds and possibly music. I am not certain what I can do in terms of music using the standard music system. I would have liked to give Skyrim different music. There is a lot of free music to use, but I cannot promise it will be in this release. Once this is done, I shall wrap everything together and generate LOD, that is distant view data. This is no small feat, to actually get it to work and not overload the computer. Here again, I do not use standard brute force LOD, but generate curated LOD that is much easier on performance without sacrificing the looks, but it does take some work to set up. Putting this all together, it will be the beta version that I shall release to a few people for testing. Quests will not have been properly checked yet, and some will be broken. This version is meant to check the landscapes and exteriors, as all the new cities will not have any interiors yet. I want to make a full release when the mod is stable and working. I do not want it to feel half-finished. I hope it will be this year, but if it doesn't happen, then I'd rather delay it than release something that wasn't complete.
Can you provide an update on the future of the Tamriel World Map project? I am aware of your significant contributions across all provinces and that your current focus is on Skyrim. Following the release of Skyrim Release 4, what is the planned next step for the project?
I cannot speak for TWMP as a project because there is no such project, not anymore. I am out of it, and Huldar hasn't got much time to work on his Skyrim, although I know he's got something cooking for TWMP Skyrim Improved. He says it will work with TWMP Skyrim Alive as well. At present, only 3 people work in the TWMP area: Huldar with his Skyrim Improved, Envy Developer with their Elsweyr Palatine, and I. There is no one else. In future I might return to TWMP Valenwood Improved. Huldar not only set the original Valenwood Improved to the TWMP framework, but he also corrected a lot of landscaping issues, so I would much rather work on his TWMP version. And besides, it makes it possible to also use Elsweyr Palatine, which is TWMP based. My main focus is on Skyrim though. I already have the story for the next release, that is the next installment of the main quest, so I shall most likely simply continue building Skyrim.
You are a remarkably prolific writer. You have penned numerous in-game books for your mods and crafted extensive backstories for various characters within the I Am Lena Wolf series. Considering this, how essential is a passion for writing for a mod creator who specializes in developing quests and storylines?
I make mods to give visual representation to my stories. The stories come first. Indeed, I Am Lena Wolf is a fanfiction series about the life of Lena Wolf since the moment she finds herself thrown into the Imperial prison for stealing one sweet roll too many. This was 240 years ago. Her story is what drives my mods, this is why they exist and what they depict. I included a few chapters as books into the Skyrim mod, but she ventured into other universes as well. I also wrote stories led by other characters, but in the end everyone comes back to Oblivion, be it Cyrodiil or Skyrim. In total, there are some 580 chapters, of which about a third are in Tamriel. To tell you a little secret, I switched to writing an original fiction series, the first 3 books of which I hope to publish this year. It is not taking place in Tamriel, and it is not a retelling of any other story, because then it would not be original. But it is a fantasy story with all the same roots in Nordic folklore and European ancient history that serve as roots for the Elder Scrolls and other games that find their way into my Skyrim. Tamriel is not included, but it is at the back of my mind, feeding into the inspiration. So, how essential is writing for someone who wants to make quests? Quests are stories told in a particular way, and writing is stories, so I'd say they are one and the same.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the Oblivion Remaster. Have you had a chance to play it? My primary concern is the lack of official modding tools from Bethesda. Given classic Oblivion's impressive 20-year-plus modding legacy, I doubt the remaster can achieve the same long-term appeal without dedicated modding support. What is your perspective on this?
I have not played Oblivion Remastered because I do not have a PC capable of running it. I do have PlayStation 5 for which I could buy it, but frankly paying a premium price for a game that I know throughout seems strange. I have seen screenshots and did not like the lack of color and the modern look of the characters. That was going to annoy the heck out of me, so why on earth would I do this to myself? If I wanted to play vanilla Oblivion, I could just run it on my PC, on my Xbox 360 or on my PS3. I'm really spoilt for choice here. So, beyond that, I have no opinion of Oblivion Remastered.
Fair enough. Now, my final question. What aspects of modding are you most passionate about? Writing, quest design, exterior level design, interior level design, 3D asset development, or anything else?
I do not make models because I lack the skills and I chose not to develop those skills. I have to stop somewhere. It is very time consuming and a lot of work, and I feel I cannot do it all. Instead, I do all the other things that you mentioned, also adding coding and retexturing. Yes, I can do GIMP and NIF scope, and this gives me all the means to create variety, both with vanilla models and those made by other model makers available as free resources. I could not choose between those areas, they all work together in my mind, they are all different aspects of bringing to life the story from the books.
Thank you, Lena Wolf, for taking the time to do this. Thank you for giving so much to the Oblivion and Elder Scrolls community. I wish you the best and look forward to your updates and new ideas. Alright guys, that was a discussion with Lena Wolf. Do you have any questions for her? Please write in the comments below and I will get them answered for you. Or just share your thoughts on what we discussed today. Thank you so much for watching and may the divines watch over you.